Hi guys, my name is Nonima Dikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Advocate Baloyi and the sneaky ways that he uses in that courtroom of Judge Ratha and how he always gets the leeway to do as he please in that courtroom. But before we get into doing that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you will be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now, let's talk about, first of all, yesterday we saw something that is very shocking. You know what? When it comes to Judge Ratha, every time you think you've seen it all, he will bring more surprises for you. He is always topping the previous one. If there was a surprise today, he will top the next one and top and top and top. He's like that. He's a man like that. And wow, my goodness, I am still shocked to this day, even on the 7th of November. I am still shocked by Judge Ratha's behavior. So Advocate Baloyi was busy with cross-examination for accused number one, asking about bank transaction and everything. We already spoke about that in length. And we even spoke about him speaking about hiding behind Section 236. And even that was not assisting. Yeah, this trial, we've seen it all. So what we saw him do now in the middle of cross-examination of accused number one, we had him read something. We had Ratha saying, firstly, Baloyi was starting to read something. While he was busy reading this thing, we hear Judge Ratha saying, so you are quoting Kapa. And then Baloyi continues to read and read and read. Somewhere in the middle of it, with the reading that he was doing, Mnisi gets up to say objection. And then Judge Ratha shuts down Mnisi. That one already spoke about. But now, where I want us to look at is how Judge Ratha and Baloyi, how did Judge Ratha know that he is quoting Kapa? How did Baloyi just get into doing that? Because when you think about it, Baloyi was now entering the statement or the so-called confession of accused number two. He wants to cross-examine accused number one on it. But now ideally, he's supposed to do an application, tell others that my Lord, I would like to do an application so that everyone is aware of what is happening. Instead, what looked like was something that was happening there is that Judge Ratha was aware Baloyi is going to do that because he already knew what he was doing. He even says, he asked, is that allowed? Are you reading on Kapa? And then they are in sync. They are finishing each other's sentences and thoughts. That was so weird to watch, guys. That was very weird. While we were doing that, the next thing he starts reading and everything. Now, when you realize, you're like, what's going on? What are they doing? What is he doing? Because this is supposed to be a cross-examination. But I'm figuring now, which actually Baloyi went and did an application without informing the defense. He did an application to reopen his case so that he can use accused number two's statement. Cronea said it's a statement after cross-examination with Nkomesu. Accused number two statement to cross-examine number one, of which that was very irregular. It was irregular, in the highest form of irregular. And now Baloyi was using all of that. He is doing it via backdoor, through the back door, without following proper protocol. And this move sparked serious concern about the fairness and the procedure. A confession from one accused cannot be used against another without following specific evidential rules. That's what Baloyi did there, because wow. And then we were left all in shock. And the drama that unfolded after that was also it was on fire. It was shocking because Advocate Baloyi is now applied. I think after Mnisi realized, and the reason he was shut down is because Judge Ratha could see where Mnisi was going to use because Baloyi now was like he was shocking the other people in that courtroom by applying to use accused number 2's confession to cross-examine accused number 1, but without following protocol or proper legal steps. Defense was busy trying to cry foul play, calling it background or backdoor move that breaks protocol. And Baloyi was bending all rules to save his case. Judge Rata was allowing him to do so. Judge Rata was allowing to do so and without fear of favor. And he only realized later that actually what I just did is wrong. What I just did is wrong. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen when it comes to this, because the courtroom was already tense with Baloyi standing up with his application. But what shocked us was how he tried to introduce that accused to so-called confession, not through proper evidential route, but through backdoor during cross-examination of accused number 1. That was shocking. That was shocking. Now, according to legal procedure, a confession made by one accused cannot be used against one another unless it has been properly admitted into evidence. That means Baloyi should have filed for formal application, giving both the court and the defense a chance to challenge it. Instead, he tried to sneak it in while questioning accused number 1, hoping it will go unnoticed. That's what Baloyi was doing there. And when defense reacted, there was courtroom tension now, because defense counsel immediately objected, accusing Baloyi of trying to bypass the law and mislead the court. But he did not even get to utter the objection. He was shut down by Judge Rata Mokgoatlheng. The word backdoor were used and repeatedly a direct hit at Baloyi's credibility and his knowledge of legal protocol. That was me using that word, backdoor, because that's what I saw. Judge Rata, at the end, when he realized what he was doing, he appeared very visibly uncomfortable, realizing that was not a small procedural slip, but a major breach of courtroom ethics. He knew that, but at a later stage, after everything was done, he realized what he has done. He realized it raises that move by Baloyi and Judge Rata raises some really big questions. Is Baloyi desperate to save a sinking case to that extent of breaking rules while we are watching as the country like that? Or this is just another example of the prosecution cutting corners to secure a conviction at all cost? At all cost. But whatever the answer is to those questions, the defense is not going to back down, I'm sure. And this backdoor confession might just come back to haunt the state case, because what the hell is this, guys? What the hell is this? The Senzo Meyiwa case trial is turning into a legal chess match, and every move is being watched closely by the public. And we are seeing the things. The cracks are already out there. It came with cracks. I remember when it came on the surface, they were saying watertight case, watertight case. When we started listening to the evidence, we were all looking for the watertight. Where is watertight in this? Where is the watertight in this? Because South Africans are watching, and we are not playing, guys. We are watching. We want to see where is this going to go. We really want to see where is this going to go, because wow. Because wow, Sanlam, wow, Judge Rata. That's all I can say to you today, because I'm still shocked. I'm still, wow, Judge Rata. Stay tuned for the next twist on the Senzo Meyiwa case, because in this courtroom of Judge Rata, even the law itself is being tested. Everything is tested. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. More exclusive courtroom breakdown will come through soon when we hear what happens, when we hear what's happening, when we hear what Judge Rata is going to say. I'm coming back with another video talking about the ins and outs of that courtroom, the possibilities and the impossibilities. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.